Congressman Scott Perry, who is running right now for a seat, but not in the 4th Congressional where he normally stands. And he's with us here this morning. Good morning, Congressman. How are you?
Well, good morning, Gary. I'm tired of the rain. Is this the rainiest year we've ever had?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's been terrible. I've noticed it especially on golf courses where, just at golf, it's been tough. You think rain would be great for golf courses, but you can get an overabundance of that. If I hear one more person say the farmers love it, I'm going to smack them. I really am.
I don't think they do love it.
No, I mean, it's
in the fields.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. Speaking of crazy, this election has had more money spent on it than, and I was just reading this morning about all over the country. That it's ridiculous. And your race is no different that you're having right now with George Scott for the seat in the is it the 10th district? Yeah, which is my district, by the way, which I should know. Anyway. Tell me a little bit. The outside money has been huge this year, and tell me a little bit about the effects of that so far. What you've seen so far in this race.
Well, I had told people as soon as the redistricting had occurred and was kind of settled by the courts, et cetera, that they were going to see something in central Pennsylvania that they had never seen before, and people kind of just dismissed it at the time. And I just knew what was going to happen, that this outside money was going to come pouring in. And, we aren't used to that. I mean, whether it was Bill Goodling or Todd Platts or myself, these races in this area were pretty respectable. But, we're hardworking people. We're not wealthy people. We're just hardworking people around here. And we're not used to this influx of outside money. But from all these different organizations run, from my perspective, run certainly by Tom Steyer, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, you can Michael Moore and MoveOn.org has been here. And we're seeing literally millions of dollars. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's organization has spent over $500,000 itself on for my opponent. And what it does is you don't even want to turn the TV on anymore. When we can, we try and watch the news or what have you. And I have 2 little girls, and we've just kind of quit doing that for a little while because they look at me, they're looking at the TV, and they're saying, Daddy, what's you know what I'm.
Well, I kid with people right now in a fun way because for me, TV ads at this particular point. By outside groups or by I want to hear someone talk about the issues in a reasoned way. I want to be able to vote as an American, and I don't want to have to vote as a Democrat or Republican. I want to vote as an American. I want to hear the ideas out there, and to me, anything that goes away from that, to me, and it's just myself talking, to me, is disrespectful of the voter. And the idea that you get these commercials on now, they almost get to the point of if you elect Scott Perry, he'll take your firstborn. That kind of stuff. Yeah, right. I'm kind of tired of those kind of things, and this jumping to the polar ends. And what it tells me then is that they don't have a lot of respect for Americans in general. They must think we're pretty darn stupid. And it's aimed at the person who maybe only sees these things and doesn't do their homework as far as being a citizen in the country. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think you're generally correct about that. And they are kind of sensational. They are a lot of times half-truths. They've got a scintilla of truth. I know from my perspective, I asked, how come I'm being accused of trying to take people's Social Security and Medicare away? And my legislative director said, well, you support a balanced budget. And if you support a balanced budget amendment, the assumption is that you will cut those programs. And I said, but no one's ever said that. He said, but that's the assumption, and that's what they'll run an ad on. And I think that, unfortunately, there are a lot of folks with very busy lives with their children. They have to get their own struggles, trying to make the mortgage payments and trying to figure out their own lives and their own family issues, employment issues, and they don't have a lot of time to figure this stuff out. And when they finally do take a moment to relax, sit down, watch the TV or what have you, or go through their mail, that's what they see,
right.
And it plants that seed of doubt, and they just go forward. I think there are seeds of doubt there, and I think they think, well, who really knows? I mean, Gary, I do a lot of door knocking, and I always have.
Right.
I still do. I was out yesterday, and people will tell me I'm confused. I hear so much. I'm not sure what the truth is, and I think that's part of the strategy or the tactic as well, is just to confuse people.
Well, it's interesting. I was reading a national article this morning, and it talked about how voters feel exactly that. And they said the economy is doing well. We just saw new numbers come out on Friday. The unemployment rate's down to 3.7, 250,000 new jobs added. The wages are starting to go up. And you're looking at all that, and then you're saying, but I hate Trump. I don't like the way he acts and all that. Well, you get tethered to some of that. I mean, whether you like it or not, you get tethered to some of that. How do you deal with that on people who do say, hey, I like the economy, I like my paycheck's going up and all that, but you know what? I just don't like the guy. Which trumps which?
It is. Sometimes it's really difficult, and I will tell you, 2 nights ago, I was out knocking on doors over in Dauphin County, and a lady, she said, hey, get in here. I want to talk to you. Now, I didn't know what her registration was. She turned out to be a Republican. Her, as she called him, her significant other is a Democrat, and they have MSNBC on all the time. And she said, I'm not going to vote for you because I hate the president. I don't like what he says.
Wow.
And, and I don't like what he does. And she said, now, I do like the economy, and it's really working well for me, but I want him impeached. And I just tried to plead with her a little bit that I said, you're never going to meet the president. Most people are never going to meet the president. It's probably just not going to happen. I said, but how is your life personally? If your life is improving personally, look, I don't even – I'm a Republican too. I don't agree with some of the things the president says and some of the things he does. But,
right.
We're talking about style over substance here. And if the substance is important to you, you ought to look out for your own best interest. And, and sometimes you can appeal that way to people, and sometimes you just can't. So
doesn't that sum up though?
Everybody puts it in, everybody makes whatever's most important to them most important to them.
Doesn't this sum up exactly where the election is though tomorrow? I mean, if you don't like his style, and if you don't like him, and a lot of people don't, and especially Democrats, then you're probably going to vote for the Democratic candidate. If you look at your reality and you say, okay, well, these things have gotten better in the country and they continue to get better, then you probably are going to tend to support Republicans. So again, this could change for Democrats on the election, but the more positive message here in terms of the reality appears to be on the side of the Republicans. Going in about 45 seconds. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was with another state representative who listed all the things that he and the state house has gotten accomplished, and he said, but since I'm a Republican, none of that matters to certain people. It's just because they don't like President Trump. And consultants, some have told me, look, this isn't really about any of that stuff. This is whether you like President Trump or hate him, whether you like Nancy Pelosi or hate her, and that's what it comes down to, unfortunately. It's a very emotional election, and the economy and people's personal well-being, unfortunately, don't really matter a lot to a lot of voters on this occasion. And that makes it difficult because you've tried to do a good job, both Democrats and Republicans.
Well, what's really interesting about this, too, is it has the feel more of a presidential election where personality is more involved than it does of a midterm election where normally you think of it being more issues-oriented and what a person has done. Because we just took what a person has done and you tethered it to Trump. I mean, you got a slam dunk. But
this should be easy. Yeah, exactly. This should be easy for from an economic standpoint, tax cuts, unemployment, employment opportunity, freedom, all those things. This should be a slam dunk, but it's not because of the personalities.
It's going to be interesting to see. Is it perception or is it reality? Congressman, we appreciate you being with us today. We'll look forward to watching the results tomorrow, as I'm sure you're going to be. And
yes, I will be.
We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thanks, Gary. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day.